Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us for our national interview series, Take Two. We did try to do this month live, but unfortunately we had some technical challenges. So we're coming to you as a recording this week, and I am really pleased about the topic this month. You know, we think about early fall, we think about kids going back to school, and as a mom of two kids myself, I want them to stay healthy because our children's health really is our future. So I'm Sarah Tigendra, the National Sales Manager for nutraMetrix, and today I am joined by Dr. Dwight Franklin. So thank you so much, Dr. Franklin, for being here with us today. And Dr. Franklin is a doctor of Oriental Medicine. He is the owner of the Franklin Family Wellness Institute, and he not only graduated from, but is a former professor from the Florida College of Integrative Medicine. And he's worked with pediatricians and psychiatrists. He's worked with children with ADHD, with autism, and various other, all too common these days, childhood disorders. And he comes from the scope of Oriental medicine, supplementation, nutrition, lifestyle, and craniosacral therapy. And so with these disciplines, I'm really excited, Dr. Franklin, to have you with us today for this conversation. And so good morning.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me.
Yeah. I just want to start with, let's go to the foundation, because the foundational health is your specialty. So how, I know with my two kids, some people have said, oh, we can give Ella this food because she's so little, she'll just burn it off, or her metabolism's so great. Wouldn't you love to be able to eat pizza and candy and cookies all day? And they're not the ones that have to take her home with them and try to get her to bed and try to get her to pay attention and try to get her to be on her best behavior. How important is lifestyle for a child?
Well, it's incredibly important, and I would say that lifestyle is just as important, if not more so, for a child as it is an adult. I'm kind of the analogy king, if you will. If you were going to build your dream home, you wouldn't just pick out the nicest furniture and the nicest curtains and the nicest paint and all of that. You would want to have that foundation, okay? You wouldn't use cheap wood to build that dream home, okay? The same thing happens with a child. They're in their largest growth and development years as a child, okay? They'll never be growing and developing more so than when they're a child. Even as an infant, from 0 to 1, that is the most growth and development year. So it is incredibly important that they get off to the right start. And, mentioning things, like sugar and, some kids can do okay, and their bodies are set up in such a way where they can detoxify well and it doesn't cause any major harm. But when you work with kids like I do, and you see that, a red M&M can trigger a kid to have violent acts. I mean, that's happened multiple times in my office. And we find out that these food dyes cause dramatic effects with these children. So every kid's different, but certain kids need a lot more attention to detail than others.
That's important. Yeah. I wish that everyone just ate the same diet that I want my daughter to eat. So play dates, birthday parties, and snack time at school was a little bit easier. So I'm happy to continue to have this conversation. With the business that we're in, with the company nutraMetrix that we work with, I get asked this a lot. So I'm going to ask you, how early should you consider supplementation for our kids?
From the start.
Okay.
When we talk about C-sections being at 5.5% back in the 1970s, and now it's up to around 31%. Why is that important? Because the children the infants aren't getting their first exposure to healthy bacteria, and that bacteria does a lot for our bodies. It contributes to our immune system and growth and development and digestion of nutrients and synthesis of amino acids and various other things. So they need that good start. And, I'm not saying there's not reasons for C-sections. Absolutely there are. But when they're not getting that first exposure, we have to supplement. And we have an amazing probiotic with nutraMetrix that I, use all the time in my office. It has a couple of different bacterial strains that have been shown and proven effective with crying and constipation with young children, and it works remarkably well with the kids.
Yeah, I think that's the probiotic extra, right?
Extra.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's really easy. I give that to Brody and my 5-month-old, and he had a normal vaginal delivery, but
Hmm.
you should see him. He like lights up when I come over, give it to him in a little syringe, and he just loves it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great. That's great. And yeah, I think that that's a great question. And talk to me though, because now Brody for me is 5 months old, so he's going to be 6 months in just a couple of weeks, and we're starting. I just put him for the first time last night in a high chair to sit at the table with us. And
Hmm.
how important, is family nutrition in a regard, to child's health? Because and I know even with my 4-year-old, there's sometimes where, yeah, I got to admit, like, Mama likes her pumpkin spice lattes. And I know that there's nothing good in this pumpkin spice latte, but it's one of those like, do as I say, not as I do. But could you help me and other moms that struggle with this? We want our kids to be super healthy, but how does the family dynamic come to play?
Well, as an adult, that pumpkin spice may not affect you quite as much. Your immune system's more fully developed, liver function may be better. But, what I usually say is do it away from the child, where they're not fully exposed to it. Because, these kids, especially the kids with ADHD and autism and various conditions where they need to really, really be strict with the diet and lifestyle, they are already confronted, like you said, at school with, teachers giving, lollipops for, getting a good grade on a test or good behavior. That always confused me when teachers would reward good behavior with things that are going to make the behavior worse, and vice versa. But yeah, I tried to get my family, and Sarah, I know you a little bit now, and you do much better with your diet than what you're giving yourself credit for. But it is important that the family contributes. Dads, you're notorious at this. They just let the mom handle it, and you have to be a part of it. That child doesn't need to see that everybody else is having the cupcakes and they're stuck with, just the lettuces and whatever.
Right.
They need family support in that, and I try to, teach that to my parents.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. We try. Thank you for giving us a little bit more credit. It's tough though. And then, the other thing that I think is hard, and I'm thinking about back to school, and my Ella has a fall birthday, and that blend between the complementary and alternative and a more holistic method. But, we can't discredit, just like you said. There's C-sections that are necessary. Like, we can't discredit modern medicine either. And, luckily we're not, I don't have to worry about some other things because of technology, that's there. But how do I, as a mom, how do you think that I can partner with my healthcare practitioners, to make sure that as a parent, I'm getting the best support? Are there questions I should be asking practitioners? Are there things I can do to be proactive?
Absolutely. Well, number one, don't be afraid to ask the questions, and have a healthcare practitioner that is going to sit down with you and spend time with you, rather than, kind of just give me your symptoms, here's the medication. Find somebody that's going to sit there and take 15, 30 minutes with you or even longer to answer all of these necessary questions, because a lot of times I think parents are just put into a situation where they don't feel like they can ask the questions. So make sure you feel comfortable with your healthcare practitioner. If you have to, go on antibiotics, or your child has to go on antibiotics, then definitely, ask about side effects. Ask about, what can I do to supplement that's going to replenish that beneficial bacteria. And if your child has any kind of behavioral issue or psychological issue, then and you're putting them on an ADHD med or something like that, you need to, feel comfortable asking, what can I expect, or what is possible side effect wise, or is there another way to go about this? Whatever feels comfortable to you as a parent. But that's the big one, just feeling confident and comfortable with asking questions and having a healthcare practitioner that can answer those questions. But also, if they can't, then they will go and find that answer for you, you know? So that's the big one.
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. Now, I know that there's some products that you work with a little bit more closely than others. And so one of them that I have a question about is antioxidants. Now, I take an antioxidant because I understand that, you know, maybe, and I know my body, you're right, I'm a little bit savvier than maybe most, and I understand I have some detoxification issues, and I understand the, you know, toxic lifestyle that I did, you know, was exposed to. So I'm always trying to give myself a leg up there. But now my kids, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Do they need an antioxidant? Do they not? Why would they need an antioxidant? Could you talk to me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, the same types of oxidative stress that you're going through, they're going through the same things, you know. And oxidative stress has been linked to all of these major disorders that are popping up at just epidemic rates now: ADHD, autism, and allergies, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's incredibly important that they are reducing oxidative stress in their body. And you
Can
know,
we
we
break
have
this down?
some
What's oxidative stress? Could you define that for me?
oxidative stress, okay? Just like a piece of iron, if it's set outside and it's exposed to oxygen, it rusts. The same thing happens in our bodies, okay? So basically, it's like this: we need oxygen to function, right? But you need antioxidants. You need these free, what we call free radical scavengers, to clean up the mess afterwards that's created from oxygen, causing how do I say, processes in our bodies happening. Okay, nothing just happens in our body. There's chemicals that cause these processes to happen, but there's a little bit of cleanup work that needs to happen afterwards. Okay, and that's where, you know, antioxidants come into play. They're going to take care of the leftovers. They're going to reduce that free radical damage in the body.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. And so, what kind of forms, you know, what are we looking at with nutraMetrix? What does nutraMetrix offer in terms of helping with oxidative stress for our kids?
Well, the big one is, of course, OPC3. OPC3 has a few different products in it. It's OPC3 is pycnogenol. Pycnogenol has been shown to be incredibly effective in many different childhood disorders. Then we have grapeseed extract, which is a great antioxidant. We have bilberry extract, such as bioflavonoids, and what else? Grape skin, I believe. Yeah, so it's a very well-rounded product, and greatly helps to reduce oxidative stress. The pycnogenol is an all-natural anti-inflammatory. It doesn't hurt the stomach the way that, say, ibuprofen or something like that has a tendency to do, because it only regulates one different chemical that causes inflammation in the body, COX-2. It doesn't regulate COX-1, which is also responsible for your stomach lining. So that's why ibuprofen causes so much, you know, damage to the stomach. Pycnogenol has also been shown to be hepatoprotective, so it helps the liver function, unlike most medications. So yeah, this supplement is very, very helpful in many different areas.
And I know we have it in two forms. There's an isotonic formulation, and then also in a chew. Is there one that you're using for, you know, over the other?
Well, I use the isotonic form, you know, when I can. If the child is able to, you know, swallow the supplement and they don't give too much complaints to their parents, then I absolutely use the isotonic form, because isotonic, of course, means it matches your blood, sweat, and tears and fluid pressure, and it's highly absorbable. Okay, so these children need this sure shot of supplement. All right. The chews, however, I've had great success on those as well. So, you know, isotonic is better because it does give that high bioavailability. But if they won't go that route, then the chews are also very effective.
Right, right. The most expensive supplement is the one that sits on the shelf and isn't taken. That's what I.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a problem with the chews because my daughter just wants more and more and more of them, and I'm like, nope, we just need one today. So it's a fun. You know, if we listen and not we're open, we take our supplements in the morning. You know, she's happy to have that too at the end, right before we head out the door. So It can be used as bribery as well as being protective. I know in my household, they are delicious. And so, I think, so we've talked about gut health. We've talked about antioxidants. Now, what about a multivitamin? And you were talking to me before the call that there was one that you particularly use in the line. So could you tell me a little bit about which one that is and why you're using that?
Yeah, the DNA Miracles Multivitamin Plus. I use that because it is absolutely beautifully formulated for my kids on the spectrum, and also, ADHD kids, but it also works just beautifully for kids that aren't having such issues. But the major thing about this Multivitamin Plus is it has methylated Bs, B6, B9, and B12. Okay, children and adults as well, who have the MTHFR mutation, they do not methylate their B vitamins, meaning they don't break down synthetic vitamins the way that other people might. Okay, so when that happens, we are going to be greatly reduced in our detoxification pathways. We just simply can't do it the way that other people who don't have this SNP do. So it's just so important for them to be supplementing with methylated Bs, and this product has all three of those. Okay, also B9 folate. If they're not taking a methylated folate, then guess where else they'll get it? From all of the green foods, which kids just absolutely love, right?
Right.
So it's so important for them to be getting their methylated Bs, and this product has it. It also has a higher amount of zinc and no copper. Copper's been associated with many neurological disorders, and zinc and copper have this nice play with them, where if zinc's higher, copper will go lower. Okay, so that's why it has zinc but no copper in it. It also has higher amounts of vitamin C and vitamin D. So it's a very well formulated product for these kids who are suffering from these challenges. But for your average kid, it also works beautifully as well.
Oh, awesome. That's great to know. Yeah. I mean, because you hear so much like, well, I don't know. I picked up, Flintstone vitamin, no offense to those, but, or, just this vitamin that I've heard of or I saw a commercial for. And it's hard to navigate a supplement aisle at the store and you don't know. And, I have to just say for my two kids that in terms of taste, they've been really pleased with everything that they have. I know. How about do you use? We didn't talk about this earlier, but the omega-3s in your practice.
Yeah, all the time, all
Yeah,
the time.
they taste.
Yeah, I mean, omega-3s are great for brain health. So it's just another route to go to improve brain function with these kids. The omega-3s have been shown to help with attention, impulse control. So yeah, we have a great omega-3 coming from anchovies and sardines, but it does not taste like anchovies and sardines. It tastes like creamsicle. Yeah, yeah. So that usually is my kid's favorite thing to take. So yeah, there's no pushback on that dreamsicle omega-3.
Yeah, so good, so good. I mean, and so when putting this together, I mean, do you tend to introduce, one thing at a time with kids, or start them on a new regimen, or all together, or talk to me a little bit about, what I could expect from a practitioner like yourself. How many products should we start with?
Well, I definitely start one product at a time with these kids, and I start with the multivitamin plus because I want that liver functioning wonderfully, or as best it possibly can. So those B vitamins, and I don't have time today to go through the whole breakthrough, but eventually they end up creating glutathione, or helping the body to create glutathione in the body, which helps that liver detoxify. So that's what I put them on first. And if they do well with that, and they always do, then we're going to start them on maybe the OPC3 to work with the inflammation in their body. And there's always inflammation with these kids. These kids have gut inflammation and they have brain inflammation, and we need to cool that inflammation down. So I will start with the OPC3 and then start to add the probiotics in and then omega-3s. And yeah, so we take it one step at a time. The digestive enzymes, beautiful, because the digestive enzymes has a wonderful ingredient in there called L-glutamine that helps to repair leaky gut syndrome. Okay, so yeah, and it helps the kids to break down their food properly, which many times they do not do. So yeah, those are my main products that I use in the office, and I do take it one step at a time, but we usually end up with 4 or 5 products with every kid.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean that's what a lot of moms are taking too. And so, of course, just like on an airplane we say put your oxygen mask on first with moms and staying healthy there. And I'm sure we'll do a whole series just on mom's health. But then when we do that, when we think about our kids, because I would do anything for my kids. I mean, I would step in front of a bus for those kids. I mean, that they're my whole world. And whenever they have any challenges themselves, I'm like, who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? And but it's as a partnership with a practitioner like yourself. It's then commitment as a family for us, making sure that it's not just about the visit with someone like you, but it's then what do I do? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Are we
Hmm.
sleeping? Are we, saying what we're grateful for at the end of the day, and trying to live the best lifestyle that we can, and all together. And I like that as a practitioner. I know that when you do carry a line like nutraMetrix, there's you're caring about a whole body, not just one part of a kid, the whole thing, and what's happening around it. So around the kid and the family and their activities. And so we totally appreciate that, keeping the kids, healthy. So let's just end on one more question. I mean, if
Sure.
there's anything, we're coming up cold flu season, with the fall into winter. And I know already I've gotten notes home from my daughter's preschool, this kid came down with this disease and this one has this one, and wash your hands and don't forget. But
Hmm.
give me some good practical principles to navigate this cold and flu season.
Well, always start with, beneficial bacteria in the body. Okay. When beneficial bacteria are there, and our probiotic, chewable probiotic that is, helps to replenish bacteria in upper respiratory. So that is a wonderful start to making sure that we don't catch any upper respiratory issues,
Yeah.
children as well. Okay. We have to use the DNA Immune. I use that a lot in my office, which has vitamin C, zinc, and bromelain. Bromelain is a protein enzyme coming from pineapple stem, and it really helps to break down mucus in the body.
Mm.
So yeah, that's another great addition. Yeah, there's many different products that we can use. The pycnogenol and the OPC3 is an anti-inflammatory, as we talked about, and has been shown to really reduce allergies symptoms. So yeah, there's many routes to go, but mainly eating healthy is really a wonderful start as well. So decreasing sugar. Sugar creates inflammation in the body. Sugar reduces the immune system. And and sugar also feeds bad bacteria and yeast, which will create an issue in your gut, which will help to destroy the good bacteria, which we do not need to happen in this kind of weather. So, yeah, there's a lot that we can do, but start with a diet and then start adding supplements into, supplement.
Well, we're in October, so I'm gonna have to just rate her Halloween candy before she gets to it. I think.
Yeah, don't go crazy in Halloween.
Ah, it's so tough, the society that we live in. But maybe I'll have her watch this video. I think sometimes she outsmarts me, so I think that she'll understand the rationale right here between that I just want her to be healthy, and I want her to be able to show up for her play dates and feel her best, and then keep my son healthy, because that's what happens. One of them gets sick, and they all knock down, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you navigating us through some of the products in our children's health line, helping us prioritize them for our kids, or which ingredients we really want to look at. And it's about, I think, as a mom, education and empowering. And that's what I love about the nutrametrix.com website, is that all the studies are there, the labels are there. If I have any questions, if I'm not working with a practitioner, who's as well versed as you are, I can print the label out and take it to my practitioner and say, here, is there anything in here that you would advise me not to take? Or, is there anything that I'm already getting? Maybe I want to use this to replace another product that I'm on. Will you help me? And I think that nutrametrix.com, as the transparent website that it is very helpful for a mom. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Franklin. And this have been a great series for our national interview series for children's health and the future. And can't wait to read some of the comments and interact with you guys through this video post here on Facebook. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sarah.